The diamond of dirt tracks. Ferris, Fenewald, get us fired up as we go late model racing. And it's Johnny Fenewald doing what he does best, getting that 21 to the front early and often. The hammer, Cole Hinson, trying to get underneath the 51 of Larry Ferris, but it'll be Fenewald, Ferris, Hinson as they make their way around lap number 1.
When you look at Cole Hinson sitting back there in fourth right now, just has to run a steady race. He's looking for a ULMA points title. He's running third with Caden Cornell outside of him, and now Cornell in third will take that spot away. The only man that can play spoiler in this is Larry Ferris, as he's running in second. He really needs to have bad luck happen to Cole Hinson if Ferris wants any hopes at all of claiming this year's ULMA title. And Larry's not that type of guy. He doesn't want anything negative to happen to another driver. He just wants to go out and do his thing.
3 laps into our 30-lap feature for the ULMA late models as Caden Cornell has got a head of steam and making his way toward the front right now as he cleared Ferris. Now it's Cole Hinson who is eyeing the rear of the veteran race car driver. As you see Hinson get a little squirrely there. The rear end takes a hop out of turn number 2, and that gives Ferris a little bit of breathing room. Shane, how many times over the last 2 or 3 years that we have called this racetrack our home on Saturday night have we seen the 21 and the 50 do battle? Johnny Fenewald and Caden Cornell up front, but a great battle further back as you see Todd Shute and Russell dueling it out for a position on the track.
Battle right now with Russell, who had a second place finish here earlier this year, has Shute right behind him. Russell, the 2015 Lucas Oil Speedway champion, as now Fenewald puts another car a lap down, going around the outside of Jerry Croney.
Croney out of West Plains, Missouri, in that hand-painted 14C goes a lap down to Fenewald. Cornell will be able to get around him easily. You get a good look at the side of the 21, the Flash with that rocket chassis, a Mullins power plant under the hood, and he is carving up turn 3 and 4. But Caden Cornell is not going anywhere. The white 5.0 right behind him.
As we focus on those top 2 cars, we've seen them do battle in years past. Not so much this year. We had the big 3 with Johnny Fenewald, Caden Cornell, and then Aaron Morant for so many years here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Aaron Morant ran early in the year, didn't run middle to end of the year. Caden Cornell started to go off and do more open motor racing.
Round the Flash. Fenewald fires out first, but is not able to put a whole lot of breathing room between he and Larry Ferris. Ferris at the bottom of the track sweeps up there, 3 across. Here comes the 12 of Justin Russell. Russell, Ferris, Fenewald, 1, 2, 3 across as they work their way out of turn number 4, and Fenewald fires out in front yet again. He has got a line coming off of turn number 4 that just gives him that little bit of breathing room, that little bit of daylight between he and Ferris, and now it's about to be a 6-car battle for second, Shane, as Ferris and Russell will look behind themselves and see Cole Hinson, Caden Cornell, and Todd Shute.
And this is what we become accustomed to here at Lucas Oil Speedway. While the car counts may not be huge, you may get 16 or so cars, this is what you see on a weekly basis. Side by side, battles all the way through the entire field. You see the outsider in Russell, who doesn't come here all that often, still come in and run extremely well whenever he does walk in the door. Same thing for Todd Shute, who's a little bit further back. But no one was more steady than Cole Hinson, right there in the middle of your screen, the number 31. He did not have a win all season long, but 10 top 5s earned him a win for the championship here by 16 points.
First track championship for the young driver of the 31, Cole Hinson, who is trying to reel in Larry Ferris right now. Hinson around the 12J of Russell. He puts his nose right up to the back of the 51 of Ferris, but cannot seem to navigate around him. Meanwhile, out in front, Fenewald will put another car a lap down. This time it'll be Matt Patton, the 3P out of Edwards, Missouri. 3P seems to be a little off the pace. He takes it inside line, and your leaders will race around him. All the while, Fenewald enjoying a big lead, 2 whole seconds between he and Larry Ferris. as Ferris has got his hands full with the hammer, Cole Henson.
And Ferris, a multiple-time winner here. He won 2 times last year. Second in the total points with that Black Diamond chassis and a Scott Bailey engine. Really worked on his car week in, week out last year. Just really hasn't had the speed he's needed to get into victory lane, as one car off the pace, and that is last night's feature winner in Larry Jones.
You just hate to see that Larry gets a win for the first time in a long time here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. He was emotional in victory lane last night, but it'll be an early exit for him as we are more than halfway home here in our 30-lap ULMA feature here in Wheatland.
Fenewald has gapped Larry Ferris by 2.5 seconds, so he has straight away the rest of the field. Ferris and Henson still running a tight battle there, trying to find who will come home in second in this one, with the lap traffic up in front of them. And then a little ways back, you got to go to Caden Cornell, who's almost a full second behind the hammer in third.
Cole Henson there in the 31 finished second behind Larry Jones in the Friday night feature here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. Ferris one spot out of the top 5 as Henson gets up into the dry slick stuff, gets sideways, and then has to mash back down on the go button to try and stay in front of Caden Cornell.
And I've said it so many times before here, whenever you run that high line the way these young guys do, that's the chance you take of jumping the berm, getting up over that cushion, and losing ground. You have to be perfect whenever you run that high line. In opposition, you look at Johnny Fenewald, who does still run high, but he gets right in the middle of the track. He's not going to take that chance whenever you have almost a 3-second lead.
It's just not the same driving style, and you know, it's the style that Fenewald, it works for him. That's what has allowed him to win 5 times on this racetrack this year. You can see the track starting to change. It's getting darker. It's getting slicker. The 31 and the 50 continue to do battle there for 3rd and 4th place. Fenewald just way out in front now. 3.38's the advantage over Larry Ferris.
And now you see Todd Shute starting to get into that picture as well, as Ferris is running in second right now, 3.5 seconds behind Johnny Fenewald. Go back to Todd Shute, a 4-time winner this year, the 2008 IMCA North Central champ.
Shute hit the wall coming out of turn number 4. Right as you started bragging on him for the wins he's got here.
I don't know what it is about you and I here at Lucas Oil Speedway, but every time we start bragging on someone, something bad happens.
Well, right now, Todd Schute's the one with 5 laps to go that had something go bad. Now something may be going wrong in the 50. The wonder kid from Willard, Missouri, Caden Cornell, is off the pace. White smoke. He will pull to the infield, and we will stay green.
Asked Caden Cornell at the beginning of the day how many more races he had. His open car blew a motor in it. This is the only car he's got left, and he's just had a really, really tough weekend. Had a bad night last night, wrecking his car, getting involved in an incident over in turn 1, and now his night done early.
Johnny Fenewald now looking to put Ashley Lancaster another lap down as the 21 and the 16 go side by side. Lancaster will lift. Fenewald will fly around her, slide up the racing surface, but fire off of turn number 4. There will just be 2 more laps between Johnny Fenewald and a 6th victory here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. All the while, Larry Ferris, who had been alone there in 2nd place, now getting beat and bang on by a lap car.
And when that happened, Cole Henson was able to get to his outside, make the pass for 2nd, all trying to get through lap traffic.
Johnny Fenewald now all alone on the back straightaway. There is no one within 6.3 seconds. That's the difference between Fenewald and Henson. And the Flash will find a 6th late model win here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. Toby Ott and the Buckhorn Bullet, David Hendricks, as fireworks goes and the 4-wide salute continues. Tony Anglin, a previous champion at this event, flanked by Brian Worley back in row number 8. Row number 9, the hitman Derek Henson and James McMillan. Joplin, Missouri's Johnny Coates will start on the outside of row 10. Eric Hammonds and Jared Hayes back in row number 12.
Last year's winner, Peyton Taylor, known to the snake. He slithers around the low side of turn 4, presses down on the go button, and we are underway in the Big Buck 50. Taylor Taylor with a great start, getting ahead of Heath Philpott for a 2-car length advantage down the back stretch. Turn 1 has been a deciding factor through all of the other features. Everyone getting wadded up, but we get through one lap unscathed with 26 of the best street stock drivers in Southwest Missouri and around the entire Midwest as Richie Tosh takes over second.
Richie Tosh and Heath Philpott doing battle as the Flash has taken over the second spot from the 525. Both cars now 1.3 seconds behind your race leader from Batesville, Arkansas, Peyton Taylor. Has he, Shane, maybe very well indeed hit the setup right as he is pulling away from the rest of the field.
There you see in the middle of your screen the 31 of Eric Maggard. Slater finally tagged a night ago. 2 laps down, 50 laps will make it official as Peyton Taylor leads them off into turn 1 again, and Heath Philpott, who started outside row 1, goes in too hot. He keeps it going, and he will join the rest of the field as he gets back on the track, and we stay green. As again, there's TJ Herndon. He has pulled up on the backside of Richie Tosh.
Heath Philpott goes from 3rd to 26th in that 525 after the Greenwood, Arkansas 15-year veteran driver started on the outside of row number 1. Tough luck, tough fight for second place between Tosh and Herndon as they continue to go nose to tail in that battle for second place. Just a car length between the 11 and the 1.
Richie Tosh finished 5th here, and the only time that he came to Lucas Oil Speedway back on the 22nd, but he does have 4 wins in 2020. He got 2 of them at Batesville, 2 other at Legit. Last year in the Big Buck 50, he finished 19th. That's a crate motor, so it says a lot about what he's able to do. He just pulls it out of the box, throws it in, and he's running second right now.
Well, there's a little bit more work to it than that, but how about Herndon in his first ever Big Buck 50? First time here, and he continues to hold on to a podium spot here in the early going. A 3-car battle back behind the top 3 that includes the Ditch Digger, the Buckhorn Bullet, and the 66 running behind them as you get a look at that battle further back in the field with St. Genevieve, Missouri's Tyler Worley.
So Kenny Carroll, also a 2-time champion here. David Hendricks, we mentioned him as one of the drivers to watch. He also a multiple-time champion as Hendricks loses a little bit of ground to the Ditch Digger, drifts up high on the track, so he'll give up 3 car lengths to the 94. Worley, who was making a good run and was right up in that mix, is starting to lose a little bit of grip on his car as James McMillan will go around him, and something has gone wrong with Worley. He is losing positions left and right.
See the cars get around him. The 357 there of Slater trying to make a move, but the yellow
so far, and he is the first driver to turn a sub-18 second lap, a 17.929 as he steps down on the loud pedal again, and these street stocks will roar to life. Herndon has gotten around Tosh, so Herndon has moved up into second place right now, 3 car lengths behind, and the question is anybody going to have anything for Peyton Taylor? And you wonder if over the span of 50 laps, we're only 10 laps in, has anybody else really dialed their car in for the long run in hopes of tracking down the snake?
Well, 2 different things here. Taylor is finding speed that nobody else is finding. The only sub-17 second lap, he and Herndon. And when we did qualifying on Thursday night, getting under 19 seconds was the best you could do. They're going a second faster here tonight. The other thing that's different, a lot of drivers taken off guard early in the week on Thursday by the fact that the 4 tires that they brought to the tech board were the 4 tires they were going to run. So you've got to wonder, with 3 very different track surfaces over 3 nights, if tire wear is going to come into play before this is all said and done as you look at the cars that run 1 and 2, the 0, 1, and the 1.
Well, Herndon was the fastest on Thursday night. Peyton Taylor has been the fastest ever since, and now Herndon is starting to track him down. They did some work on the track here during intermission time, and these cars have found the groove after they did the facelift over in turns 1 and turns 3. Now Taylor's starting to get a little higher on the track, and that is starting to open the door for Herndon.
And Shane, that's what I was getting ready to say. It looks like Taylor's going fishing now, looking for a little speed. He tricycles it, carries one wheel around turn number 2. but that upper line, that high line here, isn't always a favorable line for the street stocks. And look how much room that there is now. There's not a lot of space now between the top two cars as Herndon keeps his eye peeled and he tricycles the number one around this racetrack.
Go back to that battle for third and fourth as Tosh now has the Buckhorn Bullet right behind him and David Hendricks. He was our driver to watch, and we picked him for a reason. He has so much history and success at this track. We talked about the 94 wins, but he has a playbook that he can go to and learn from. We talked about it earlier in the year with him. He wanted to go B-Mod racing. He's actually already sold his B-Mod. He now is focusing on this street stock, and he can go back and say, okay, colder temperatures, drier track, this is what I need to do for the setup. He has gone from ninth, now he's battling for third.
Back up front now, the leader, Peyton Taylor, along with TJ Herndon, starting to perk cars a lap down now, as that time it's the 4 of Jared Hayes. And you see the 11 of Derek Brown going high on the racetrack. The 2020 Lucas Oil Speedway Street Stock Track Champion is done. He goes back behind the wall.
Derek Brown had come close so many times. As you see your big movers there, McMillan up 10 spots. He's now battling in the top 10. He's sitting back in 8th right now. We talked about Worley a little while ago. He's jumped up 8 spots as now one of those provisionals was given to Brian Brown, the pilot of the number 69. He will go a lap down, and lap traffic's going to play in key here. As long as we stay green, whoever can navigate it better than anyone else is going to have the advantage.
Yeah, we always say when you and I are here on Saturday nights that lap traffic is the great equalizer.
Oh, my. Look at that lap traffic.
Can be. It is grid hour on the I-90 right now, but Peyton Taylor continues to put the pedal down and try to keep his lead over TJ Herndon. It was hovering around a second the last scoring circuit around. Herndon has gotten closer and has fallen back as they continue to weave their way through the lap cars in the back of the pack.
And to show you the difference, Peyton Taylor was turning 17.1 seconds lap in open air. Now he's at 19.0, 19.1. So all of that lap traffic is burning up an extra 2 seconds, but it also says a lot about where he can put his car. Whenever he was in open air all by himself, he was going high side of the track. Now he's decided to go to the inside, and he's been for about another 15 laps or so till they catch up with the tail end of the field. As they're stacked and packed 2 wide, back behind Taylor. Green flag in the air again. Taylor gets out to a great jump, but Tosh will stay right with him, and they're 3 wide back behind him. Herndon will lose a little bit of ground, and the Buckhorn Bullet, who scrapes the wall on the backstretch, bounces off of the red outside retaining wall. State keeps his foot in the pedal and keeps rolling with it as we cross underneath the flag stand. Top of your screen, you saw a whole wall. Peyton Taylor has led 23 laps. He can remember back to last year, though. David Hendricks led almost every lap up until the last 6, whenever Taylor was able to pass for the lead and win the whole thing. So Taylor knows this one is far from being done. We're not even to halfway yet, as he will jet out to a 5-car length advantage over Tosh, get another 5 over TJ Herndon, and the top 3 or 4 have been spread out. Once they have these restarts, they get single file in a hurry, and there is a pecking order right now, and Taylor is at the top of the totem pole.
Look at a great race between a couple of the drivers that called this racetrack home quite a bit over the last couple of years. Kenny Carroll, David Hendricks, they are right nose to tail working their way down the racing surface. The 54 chasing the 94, and Hendricks trying to get his nose under Carroll, but he just can't quite get there.
Waypoint, 25 down, 25 to go. As the green flag comes out again, halfway home for Peyton Taylor. Can anyone knock him off his perch? With a jump like that, it's going to be difficult for anyone to do.
Well, one of the only drivers other than Taylor that could lay claim to being the first ever repeat champion of the Big Buck 50 is slowly making his way through the field and into the top 10. That is the one of Tony Anglin. Anglin right behind the 1X right now, and just a couple of spots behind that 525 of Philpott you see there, sandwiched between Carroll and McMillan. See Kenny Carroll coming off the exit of turn number 4. Just one of those spots in the race, Shane, where just about everybody's nose to tail, but except for a battle for fourth now, as you see Richie Tosh and David Hendricks doing battle as they work their way through 3 and 4. There's a lot of sheet metal damage on McMillan's ride.
You saw on your screen there another driver. He's at the top of your screen now. The 1X have been sitting and cooling down, and all of a sudden they have to get back up to race performance as the green flag will come out again, try to get the heat in the tires, and Peyton Taylor will look in his rearview mirror and see a side-by-side battle momentarily between Tosh and Herndon, but Herndon will get out in front of him. Hendricks now knocking on the door as he's sitting back and forth.
Tosh has been fast. You see the power that 11 has been creating as he has tricycled his way around the racetrack. Hendricks now will try to cut to the inside of him and take away third place, but Tosh gets a better run off of turn number 2. Meanwhile, Herndon, Shane, doing a good job not letting your leader, Peyton Taylor, run away and hide on this restart as he has in previous ones.
And Corey, this is the highest we've seen these cars get on the track all weekend long. It was kind of a lower speedway on the opening night, then it became a middle groove track, and now it's just continually drift higher and higher as a 3-car battle now for third. It comes into your picture as Tosh goes two-wheeling off of turn 4, Hendricks in tow, and then Philpott now, he's worked his way up into the top 5.
Heath Philpott started on the outside of row number 2, fell all the way back dead last, and is now scored in 5th in that 525, trying to get around Hendricks and Tosh, and a couple of more cars now. Joplin, Missouri's Johnny Coates and the 5H of Eric Hammonds trying to get off the field. Shane, we started the night with 26 cars. We have special for the street stocks, Shane, as Peyton Taylor will take the green flag once again and get us back going. He has been out front from the get-go.
Tonight, right now, it looks like it's going to be a race for second because Peyton Taylor has the field covered. Richie Tosh looking to the inside of Herndon, unable to do anything on that first lap. And we've seen on these restarts, Taylor able to get away quickly. If Herndon has any challenge at all from Tosh or from Hendricks or whoever it may be, it really happens in that first lap or two. Once he's able to get away from the third place running cars, he starts to check out as now David Hendricks gets around Richie Tosh. He's worked his way up to third.
The Buckhorn Bullet has been bad fast, even though the driver told us on Thursday he'd only turned 10 laps in a street stock in 2020. But the old pro has it rolling here, now up to third, and now Tosh in danger of giving up that 4th spot to Heath Philpott after he started on the outside of row number 1. The driver of the 525 has carved up the field back into the top 5.
Heath Philpott told us he hadn't finished outside the top 5 all year long. He was in jeopardy of finishing outside the top 5 whenever he went back to 26th, but he erased that deficit in no time, and he is now sitting in 5th as the top 5 cars are all spread out. A lot of distance between all of them, as now it is a choo-choo train around the outside ring of this 3/8 mile paper-clipped oval. No real side-by-side action with 14 to go. Not to say it's not going to get a little dicey towards the end, but the Peyton Taylor lead is now out to 1.69 seconds over TJ Herndon. As you see Taylor there looking for his 2nd consecutive Big Buck 50 championship.
We started the night with 26 cars on the racetrack. We now have 15 cars on the racetrack. 11 have been retired before seeing the white flag in this one, and that will change things, Shane, because the one time you saw Herndon really be able to sneak up on the rear end of Peyton Taylor's 0-1 was when the 2 cars started to work their way through lap traffic. Right now, without question, other than one spot on the track, everybody is out single file. Everybody has room to move because we've chopped the field by more than half.
Again, now we're approaching 10 laps to go. You see the battle there between Tosh and Philpott. That's back for 4th and 5th. Never a repeat winner for this event. And when you talk about street stock championships and street stock races, there aren't many that have big, huge paydays. Just to the south of here in Batesville, they have a big one, and it looks as though they're going to increase their purse in upcoming years, try to make that more enticing. But the history that this event has, especially with the Whitetail Trophy hunt that's on top of that, as now Peyton Taylor starts to work around lap traffic again, gets around Brian Brown. Will also get around the number 4 machine of Jared Hayes. So now they have indeed caught up with lap traffic, and it took them about 8 laps, and there's 9 now left on the board.
Well, over the course of this 3-day special, we have seen all of the previous winners. We saw the winner of the inaugural race, Terry Schultz, from 2014. We saw the Arkansas native, Jeremy Russell, who won it all in 2015. Stoutland, Missouri's Tim Brown was the big winner in 2016. Tony Anglin, the 2017 winner, still turning laps right now, number 8 on the scoring pylon. 2018, Mother Nature was the winner. We got whacked because of weather, and Peyton Taylor, who has been out in front from the jump, is one of 2 drivers that can maybe break the run of never having a repeat champ. But I don't know that anybody wants it more than this guy.
Well, he ran a B mod for only a handful of races this year, just sold it, as it just wasn't what he wanted to do. He wanted to stay in this street stock, and you kind of see that with Peyton Taylor as well. He's gone to modified racing next year. This could be what he says is his last street stock race, but with a big payday coming up in his hometown, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case.
Yeah, when you're talking about this being a big payday at $10,000, and they're talking about maybe doing 3, 4, 5 times this in Batesville next year, it would be a huge payday and probably enough to get Peyton into a street stock once a year.
As you see, the 0-1 continuing to pull away, the Snake slithering his way around the top of the track.
Heath Philpott, after that incredible comeback, Shane, starting on the outside of row number 1, falling all the way to dead last, now is parked on the infield. What a tough end to that story.
So his first finish outside the top 5 this year. He was running in it before his car expires. Now he'll see 2 flags in the air that time by. 2 more times around for Peyton Taylor, the Snake, out of Batesville, Arkansas. It's a TJR chassis, a spec racing engine, been racing for 20 years. When he came here last year, he had to change everything on that car. TJ Herndon will try to reel him in, but he is now almost an entire half a lap behind your race leader. He changed everything last year, found his way to victory lane. He had suspicion issues on the first night, got that fixed, and he will motor his way to his 2nd consecutive Big Buck 50. Your winner out of Batesville, Arkansas, it's Peyton Taylor.
It's winner. The Snake does it again, Peyton Taylor.